Hi friends, how are you all doing? Welcome back to my space. If today is your first time of coming across this space, God bless you. Why don't you just subscribe so that you have much of what we have to share on this channel. God bless you. I want to believe everybody is kicking nice. Today, I want to continue on the series that I started last time, which is the 24 things and even more, like I said. The things that I had to abide by to make my marriage work. And we've already shared 4 things. You can go on my channel and check in order not to waste our time. So let's just go on. So today I'm continuing on number 5, which is secrecy. Secrecy must be avoided when it comes to marriage. I realize that secret is one of those things that is capable of destroying marriage. And I knew that it was something that must not come into marriage. On my part, especially, it's always the woman everybody will, question when it comes to things like that. Most of the men can even do some horrendous acts out there and nobody will even see it to be anything. But if the woman does the same, is an abomination. So I make sure that I eliminate everything called secret. I told my husband all that I needed to tell him about me, and I make sure that I do not keep secrets. I tell him everything. I never even bothered if he tells me everything, but I make sure to tell him everything that I'm doing. Remember what the Bible says. It says the two were naked and they were not ashamed. That is what. It's not only the physical nakedness. They were naked in all things. They were not hiding anything from each other. Remember when the serpents even came to deceive Eve. Eve did not keep the secret of what the serpent told her to herself. She took the apple as well, took it to the husband, explained everything that the serpent told her, and gave the husband, part of the apple to eat. So she did not say, okay, let me keep this to myself so that I'll be more sensible and wiser than my husband. No, he took the apple and gave it to the husband and explained everything that the serpent told her. So you must avoid everything called secrecy, and that's one of the things that can destroy your marriage. And I make sure that it will not happen in my marriage. Then another thing that I realized in the marriage was that marriage is an assignment for 2 people. And for some of us that have been to school, and especially in this part of this world that we live in, assignment in this place is handled as a teamwork. So I realized that marriage is an assignment and is a teamwork. Nobody's going to get a medal without the other person included. So we have to work things out together. Nobody is striving to win in this marriage, but we are going to be winning together. And I was ready to let it work that way, that none of us is a winner, but we're going to win together, doing the work that we are assigned to do. That leads me to the next point, which is marriage is not for selfish people. Marriage is not for self-centered people. Because marriage is all about compromise. If you are selfish, marriage is not for you. You're going to make a mess of marriage. You have to lay down your guard. Well, when I mean selfishness, I'm not only talking about stinginess, which is part of it. Also, I'm talking about self-centeredness. Everything should revolve around you. There are some people that live their life like that. Everything should revolve around them. They talk about what they want their spouse to do in this marriage, but they never realize that they also have a part to play, when it comes to their spouse in this marriage. Because marriage, like I said, is all about compromise. Marriage is all about giving. Not even receiving this time. It's all about you giving, giving, giving. That's how I see marriage to be. That is all about what I can offer. When we come into this marriage, or while we were desiring to marry, or while we were young, all we say is that I want my husband to be like this, I want my husband to be like that. I never remember saying what I want to be for that man. Maybe because I thought I was almost a perfect being. But that's not true. That is not true. Marriage is all about compromise. You need to compromise about the things you want in order to suit your family, in order to suit your husband, in order to suit your children. So you will do a lot of compromise. So if you're a single girl and you are selfish, you need to deal with it, girl. Otherwise, you're not going to enjoy the benefit that comes alongside with marriage, especially as a woman in that marriage. You need to work on those two things I just mentioned: selfishness and self-centeredness. Human beings are naturally selfish. That's it. But thank God for God helping us to be who He wants us to be. So, marriage will teach you the lessons that you have refused to learn while you were single. It's not a must that you must be married. Do you get me? But it is a must that when you get into marriage, do what you're supposed to do to make your marriage work. Sorry, I had to just scream that part out. It's the truth. Do everything that you need to do to make your marriage work, with God helping you. All right? Another thing I learned to do was disclose my weaknesses and accept them, that these are my weaknesses. And I let my spouse know that these are my weaknesses. I need you to help me as much as you need me to help you. So I was never ashamed to disclose my weaknesses to my spouse. That helped me in my marriage. It helps my husband to know what I'm able to do and what I'm not able to do. So if you have weakness, don't shy away from them. And if you did not even tell your husband and he discovers, own up to them. It's your weaknesses. All he needs to do is to help you conquer those weaknesses. He also will have his weaknesses. He's a human being. You will have to help him go out of his weaknesses or help him overcome his weaknesses. That's just what it is. Marriage is beautiful. You see why I say marriage is beautiful? God brings along your way somebody that has something to offer to your life in order to enhance your life, in order to help you step up to that place that you can get to and begin to manifest who you really are. That's what marriage does. That moves us to the other point. I learned that we are not in competition. And I often tell that to my husband. We are working together. We are not competing with ourselves. Neither are we competing with any other person out there. It's just you and it's just me. So whatever we want to make this marriage to be, that is what it's going to be. Let's be focused and do the needful in this marriage in order to make the marriage work. So I am not aspiring to be higher than my husband in order to let him know that I won or I am the one winning in this marriage. No. If we fail, we are to fail together. And if we win, we are to win together. I realize that. And I allow him to be the man while I be the woman. Let me tell you guys, I enjoy my space being the woman in the house. You don't want to even imagine what it is to be the man of the house. Everybody's burden in that house is on the shoulder of that man. And that leads me to the other point. Don't be that kind of woman that tells the husband what they're doing is right, even when it's not right. Tell them the truth at all times. It will help them to live long. Or even if everybody is pampering him, he knows that when I come to my wife, he's going to tell me the truth. He's not going to flatter me. He's going to just tell me the truth. So don't be that kind of woman. Even when your husband is going astray, you are clapping for him just to make him feel good. No, it's a wrong thing to do. And that is what I do in my marriage. I make sure I tell my husband the truth. Even if he's angry, with time he's going to come around and say, indeed, you're really saying the truth. So, and those are godly virtues that you must not compromise. Then, another thing that I want to tell us, and I want the young ones to take this point on board, is prior discussion. Prior discussion before your marriage. There are things that has to be discussed before your marriage. Otherwise, when you're already in that marriage, if your husband is not the type that can easily bend, you will not be able to establish those things. Things like your finance, the way the money has to be spent in the family, it has to be discussed. Otherwise, you will go into that marriage. At the end of the day, everybody is doing their own. Your husband is doing his own. You are doing your own. There has to be an agreement on how the finances in the house will be used for the house. You have to agree on this. I did not realize that why coming into the marriage. But when I got into the marriage, it became, a very difficult thing to agree on. My husband just will not, come to that terms that, okay, let's do the things we need to do with money together. No, or let's bring it together. Let's synchronize our finances together and use it. No, he didn't believe in that, So he wants to do his things, do whatever he wants to do with his money, while I go ahead and do whatever I want to do with my money. But, when you do that, there is a lot of wastage. As opposed to when we have an agreement on how to, take one thing at a time and build on it, it helps a lot. It helps when you already agree on how the finances of the house is going to be used for the success of the marriage. Then, the way you communicate with each other, even in a time of storm, meaning even if you're quarreling, you have to agree on how you relate with each other. Otherwise, you discover that you're keeping malice in your marriage. I didn't know that. Well, thank God I learned the hard way. I was keeping malice with my husband one of these days, and he traveled. He tried to, make up. I did not give him the room to make up. As soon as he traveled, my conscience smote me. I was like, God, if this guy don't make it back in this journey, will I ever forgive myself? And let me tell you, that time there was no cell phone. So I couldn't reach out to him. So I had to suffer for those 3 days until he returned back. And I told myself, this will never happen. And to God be the glory, I have stood by the word that I spoke that day. And as soon as he came back from that journey, the way I dived to hug him, he didn't even believe it. This was the woman that didn't want to talk to me before I left. What has happened? He never knew it was God dealing with me. And that has helped me in my marriage. That even if there is a quarrel, I still talk to him. I still do what I need to do with him. And that helps bringing back the unity in the marriage. Okay, another thing I realized was that marriage is worship to God. So it must be done properly. Marriage is worship to God. Means that even when your spouse is not living up to expectation, you owe your marriage to God, which will make you do right at all times. And even when you don't even feel that love that started the whole process of marriage, because there will be times that you don't even need it. You don't even want to feel it. That's the truth. But remembering that your marriage is answerable to God will make you do the right things in that marriage, even when your spouse is stepping out of bounds. It will help you a lot before he realizes himself again. You look up to God. Also, in as much as I have said, even when your spouse is not living up to expectation, it brings me to the next point that in marriage, it takes two to tango. It's the two of you that must do the work. Fine, there are times that one person seems to be, the one doing everything. You're not going to do that for so long. You're going to run out of patience. You're going to run out of the strength to carry on. If your spouse is not ready to do the same in that marriage, you are just marking time. It will get to a time that you are tired, especially when you are not even being appreciated in that marriage. You will be tired. And the next thing is to walk away. If it's not death, the next thing is to walk away. So we don't want our marriage to be like that. Don't leave the man to do the work. And the man, you shouldn't leave the woman to do the work. The work is for both. It takes two to tango, according to the word of God. It has to be the two of you doing the work in order to make that marriage work. And I think I've shared enough in order not to make this video that long. I'll be coming your way again, sharing the other tips that I have. And God bless you. For as many that have subscribed to my channel, God bless you. And I pray that you get something out of this channel. And for my returning subscriber, God bless you. God bless you. I can't even say it enough. God bless you. And to all the married people there and those that are anticipating to marry, God bless you. And I pray that your marriage will be heaven on earth as you put in the work. Until I see you, keep basking in the joy of the Lord.